This practice is targeting the upper back and neck, aiming to strengthen there, with a few reminders to avoid elbow hyperextension. So we're starting seated and going straight for some spinal warm-ups as we extend the arms up in the air, taking the right hand down to the floor, to the waist, to the hip, left arm extending up, coming back up to centre as we exhale, going the other way, left hand down, right arm up and over, and taking 2 more of those in each direction, allowing the breath to lead the movement, not forcing, just see where the body is comfortable to go in terms of stretch and lift. As we go to the left for the 3rd time, rising back up to centre, and from here we'll take this into a twist to the right by taking the right hand around the back. Could be fingers to the floor, could be to the low back, left hand onto right thigh, chin following right shoulder, inhaling back to centre, reach up tall. Exhaling, the left hand goes around the back, roll that left shoulder round, chin following, inhaling to centre, and allowing the breath to take you through 2 more in each direction. Looking to match the smoothness of the breath with some nice, smooth, flowing movements. As we come back to centre, after the 3rd time to the left, raising those arms, and then we're taking it into extension. The hands go around the back. Again, it could be to the low back or to the floor. Lifting the breastbone, lifting the gaze, and then inhaling back up before exhaling, seated cat. Hands to legs, round the spine. Inhaling up, exhaling back. Breathing in, reach up high. Breathing out, hands to legs, round that spine, chin towards chest. 1 more in each direction. And then straightening up through the spine, come to sitting. Notice, and then let's take the right arm up and over behind the head as you place your hand. See if you can feel the bit of spine between the shoulder blades, and then rolling the left shoulder back as you draw that left shoulder blade towards the spine. Can you feel it beneath the tips of the fingers of the right hand? And playing with the movement here so you can feel the way that that scapula floats a little, quite mobile. And come back to centre before we do the same thing, other side. Left hand onto the upper spine where you can feel that connection with the shoulders. There's no physical connection, no bony connection, but the rhomboids are helping you encourage your shoulder blade towards the spine. And as you move the arm, you can feel that flexibility, that freedom of movement because of the scapula being a floating bone. Having felt that, come back to centre. Let's bring the hands onto the chest and then opening those arms, encouraging those shoulder blades to come together towards the spine at the back. This time, both shoulder blades moving together towards the spine. So it's like you're pinching the skin between those shoulder blades. A few of these as you explore the movement. Feeling the way your rhomboids are working to support this before coming to a stop. And then let's change position as you come over onto all fours. When we come into our tabletop position, making your hands as big as possible, spread those fingers, feel that great connection between hands and ground, and then moving through a few cat-cow flowing movements. Again, breath leading the movement, particularly feeling the upper back as it moves, but paying attention to the elbows, checking that we're not locking those elbows, but neither are we hyperextending the elbows. Keep a micro bend at those elbows if you worry about hyperextension there. And then we're going to switch this movement into a barrel rolling type action. So now we're having to work the arms and the shoulders as we dip the chest towards the ground, draw the chest back towards the knees, push into the ground through the arms to roll up and back, creating a wave-like movement through the spine, strong through the shoulders. Not overdoing this, not taking too many if the arms get overtired. And then we're going to change direction. See if you can reverse this movement. We can stop in between, coming to a child's pose if you need to. And then as we come to a stop there, I'm going to change position again and come to lie face down, coming into a prone position, but taking the arms out so that we have 90 degrees at the elbows, creating the equivalent of the lower half of a picture frame with your face in the middle of that picture frame. And then thinking about those shoulder blades again as you lift your arms up. See if we can again draw those shoulder blades towards each other and towards the spine. As you inhale, lift the forearms away from the ground, hug those shoulder blades towards one another, and exhale to lower. Take a few of these. And then lifting the head too, so that gets a little stronger. We have to work a little more strength into this as we flow up, lifting the weight of the head as well as the shoulders and the arms. And then as the head comes down to the ground, let's make cupcake hands, tips of fingers pushing into the ground. And then we can rise up on the inhale, straightening the elbows a little bit, not over straightening, remember, avoiding that hyperextension. Feeling the strength in those fingers to support as the spine flows up, and on coming down, reaching that breastbone forward, a sense of length in the front body. Perhaps holding one of these lifts for a few breaths if that works for you. And then taking a few lifts where we lift the whole of the forearm, the elbows, the head, coming up on an inhale, lowering on the exhale, keeping your face within that picture frame. As we come to a stop here, let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders. And again, feel those shoulder blades moving towards one another. And then let's start some movements towards a cobra pose, looking after yourself here, not pushing into this too hard. As you breathe in, allow the hands to come away from the ground. breathe out. Next breath in, hands still lifted, lift the head. Next breath in, return the hands to the ground, take some weight through those arms, and maybe the upper body will flow up as you exhale down, reaching that breastbone forward, forehead to the ground. Next inhale, lift the hands. Wait for the next inhale, add in the head lift. Next inhale, hands to the ground, flow on up. See how this feels. And from here, guiding the bottom back towards the heels into child's pose. And then from child's pose, toes going under as we come up into downward facing dog, and let's walk that dog as we explore some stretch down the backs of the legs. Guiding the chest towards the ankles and switching then from downward facing dog to plank. Strong arms, watch out for a hint of hyperextension. Lower the knees to the ground and then bending those elbows, keeping them tucked in as you lower your upper half of the body to the ground. Nice strong work through those arms. Tucking those toes under again, push back through the knees and up into downward facing dog. Again, then we're going to flow through to your plank, pushing the heels back, core really well engaged, and then bending those elbows, keeping them tucked in if possible, as you carefully lower the upper half of the body, the whole length of the body to the ground. Making a pillow with your arms and rest your head on your pillow for a few breaths. And then let's think about coming out of this as you push back to all fours. And from a tabletop position, let's extend the right leg back, toes go under, and sweep the left arm out to the left and up in the air. Before exhaling, sweep that left arm through the gap between the right hand and the right knee as you thread a needle. And then unthread that needle, sweep the arm back up in the air on the inhale. Exhaling through the gap. See if we can take 5 of these all together. On this side, again, letting the breath lead the movement, and check that that standing arm doesn't hyperextend at the elbow. After the 5th one of those, return to all fours. Drop back into child's pose. Feel the symmetry of a child's pose. A couple of breaths there before making your way back up to your all four square. Stepping the left foot back, toes under. And then it'll be the right elbow that swings to the side, unfolds, fingers reach for the ceiling, and then exhaling through the gap. Inhale, flowing up, fingers point to the ceiling, nose follows, exhaling through the gap. Checking the left elbow now, avoiding hyperextension by having a micro bend. After 5 of those, threading the needle flows, coming back to centre, back again into your child's pose. A few resting breaths there. And then let's make our way back to our tabletop, and from there up into downward facing dog again. And then walking the feet towards the hands, coming to the front of the mat, slowly uncurling or hinging up if that's better for your spine. Once at the front of the mat, into Tadasana. You're going to step the right foot back as if you're stepping back onto a right train track, softening the left knees, swinging the arms forward to shoulder height, interlacing fingers, push the hands away before sweeping them up in the air, releasing that interlacing as the arms go out to the side, round and behind, re-interlacing and then hinging forward, allowing the hands to pop up in the air as the head goes down, your core on, push into those feet to hinge back up and step forwards. Then to the other side, big step back with the left, bend the right knee, arms come forward to shoulder height, interlace fingers, push the hands away, sweep the arms up, and releasing the arms out to the side, round, down and behind, interlace, hinge forward, right ribs over right thigh, head down, hands up, core on, push into the ground as you straighten up, release the interlacing and step forwards. Back into Tadasana, shoulders soft, arms by the sides, palms facing forwards. A breath or two here. So the next thing we're going to do is to come into a warrior two position. So let's step the feet apart, a nice big distance coming onto the long edge of the mat. Feet apart, turning the right foot out, left foot slightly in, bending the right knee so it sits above the right ankle-ish, and then unfolding the arms, so looking out along that right arm as you soften the shoulders, chin above right shoulder, and guiding those shoulder blades ever so slightly towards the spine, towards each other. So feel that strength in the upper back, strength in the shoulders, strength in your core. Breath steady as you inhale, right hand back, left arm up in the air. Exhale, tilting over as you bring the right forearm in front of the right knee. Breathing in, flowing up and back, maybe lifting the gaze to look at your right hand. Exhaling, bring that right hand down, left arm pops up. Up we go again. Forward again. Holding it this time in a triangle-like pose. Maybe you turn the gaze to look up at the hand that's in the air there. When it's time for you to come out, push into the ground, strong core. Bring those arms parallel with the ground before releasing them by the sides. Turning feet to front edge of mat and parallel before turning left foot out, bending left knee, right foot in. Sweeping those arms up to shoulder height, soften those shoulders, guide those shoulder blades snug towards one another. And here, we're then going to look along the left arm. Wait for an in-breath. Right hand goes back towards right leg, left arm in the air. Exhaling, left hand comes down inside the left knee. And we're going backwards and forwards. As the left hand comes in front of the left knee, the right arm's up in the air. And you might choose to stay looking up at the hand that's in the air. If that becomes too much for your neck, turn your head to look down every now and again. But when you're ready to come up, push the feet into the ground, strong core, float your way up before relaxing the arms, feet back to parallel, and then into a wide-legged forward fold. Release the hands to the ground, drop the head, everything's soft, and taking the fingertips to the ground. So cupcake hands again, and then flowing up. So we kind of lift the back towards parallel with the ground as you straighten the elbows a little. Exhaling, soften the elbows, allow the head to drop towards the ground. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. And when you're ready to come out of this, a little bit of bend at the knees, long flat back, hinge your way up, relax the arms, and then take the hands behind the back, so fingers pointing down over the buttocks as you lift your breastbone, lift your gaze into a little bit of back extension, and then softening as we move the spine in the other direction, rounding the shoulders. And again, inhaling, lift the breastbone, lift the gaze, extension. Exhaling, a softening in the opposite direction. As we come to the end of that, stepping those feet together. And here, let's grab a block. And we're going to lie on this block, having the block at the upper back. So place the block on the ground and bring yourself to the ground and see if we can have the block portrait so that the top of the block is just beneath the top of your shoulders, the lower edge of the block above the hips. It won't be too comfortable if it's too far into the hips. And we're going to lie the upper body over the block, aiming for the shoulder blades now to release over the edges of the block. Extend the arms out, and we're looking to drape the body over this block. We'll feel a sense of stretch and space in the front of the chest. We don't want this to be too uncomfortable. Don't suffer. And it may be that you can bend the knees, have those feet slightly apart or even wide apart. Breathing away there. And potentially, if the knees are bent, it might be comfortable enough with that block staying there as you allow your knees to roll towards the right as you breathe out. Breathing in, bring those knees to centre. Breathing out, knees to the left. And as you flow here, shoulders dropping towards the ground. And when you feel you've had enough of being in this position and coming into these twists. Bring yourself back to center. And then when you're ready to, fish the block out from beneath the upper back and lie yourself directly on the ground, probably feeling like the ground is suddenly very comfortable to lie on. Noticing how the body feels before then coming up to sitting. And here, hands behind, knees bent, knees apart, feet apart, a few more rolls, gentle twisty movements. And then coming into a posture we call Dandasana, staff pose, legs extended, sit bones planted on the ground, hands beside the hips, elbows soft, long spine, so core engaged to give you that sense of lift, breastbone lifting, crown reaching towards the ceiling. Notice the strength in the upper back. We're not really carrying weight into the hands. They're there for guidance and information. A few breaths in and out here. Releasing from this practice. Namaste.